Brad Stein is someone who has always loved to make people laugh. He's considered the Christian comedian with the most media coverage in the USA, sharing jokes with people from different backgrounds. Yet, growing up in his household was no laughing matter. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, though. I do have to complain. I specifically asked for a basket of pomegranates. You gave me oranges. I can't work under these conditions. That's all I'm getting at right now, folks. It's unbelievable.
We might have to get God involved in this.
Something we're going to have. He could turn, fish in loaves. Maybe
if he can do water to wine, oranges to pomegranate. That's dope.
Or wine. He can keep doing wine. That's up to him. That's God's thing. He can do what he wants.
Now, you are known as God's comic.
New Yorker magazine called me that. So
wow,
that was
now New Yorker magazine is not a Christian magazine.
No,
and many people regard you as the personal Christian comic with the most coverage. But the beginnings for you as a young man or as a child wasn't so funny. For those who are not familiar, tell us about the beginnings.
Well, I mean, I grew up in a lower middle class family in the United States, in the Midwest, in Indiana, a little tiny farm community, pretty typical childhood. But definitely, it was kind of in the 60s, and my dad ended up having an affair, going off and getting a mistress with my mom, and I would find her, crying, and not knowing what was happening, and there was a divorce, and then. Of course, that just is destructive to a child. And back in those days, it was very. It was a time when divorce was beginning to become something that was easy to do. Go ahead and do it. Find yourself. It's all about you. Kids will be fine. And they didn't really understand the destructive element of how that will affect a child, their hope that somebody will be watching over them, that they can feel secure, all the things that have really destroyed the family unit as we know it or knew it for generations, began to be accepted as normal. I had a weird experience in that my parents actually reconciled and got back together. We moved to California.
Okay.
Then they got divorced again. So just as I thought that perhaps things were getting back to normal and I could have confidence that even when the worst case scenario happens, it can get fixed, God will fix it, it fell apart again. And, at that age, when your parents are really the ones you're looking at as your representation of God, as someone looking over you and watching out for you and leading you, and that no matter whatever happens, they'll be there.
Yes.
They betray you. And it is a betrayal to a covenant.
What if it obviously had a huge impact on you? How did that play out in your life, be it at school or with your friends? And where did the Jesus thing come in for you?
Yeah, I mean, what was also interesting was I kind of grew up in the church. We did go to church. My mom was pretty committed to that. My dad